I wrote this in the middle of November 2024, and I was going to do an improv today, but I decided to repeat this. I haven't done it since then, and well. I'm a little bit sad today, and more than a little bit angry, it's true. I'm feeling deflated and hurting within, even as I sing this song to you. I'm a little bit sad today, and more worried, I can't deny, for myself and the misfits, the people I love, waking up to a country we don't recognize. But within these walls I can share not just joy, but my heartache and fear. And in this place I have a voice, so when I tell you my stories, I know that you'll hear. Well, maybe this song could be better, but like most things I do, I just threw it together. But you need to know, my friends need to know, that this is a place we can share not just joys, but our anger and fear. There's love that surrounds you, so live out your truth. Tell us your stories, we'll listen to you. Still, I'm a little bit sad today, and I'm a little bit sad today.
Thank you so much, Forrest. I think it sums it up for a lot of us. Welcome to this gathering hosted by the Unitarian Universalist Church of Bowling Green. Whether you're here in person or online, we're so glad you decided to join us today. My name is Michelle, and I'll be your service associate. Before we get started, I want to remind everyone to put your cell phone on silent so we may be fully present with one another. This service is being live streamed. If this room isn't comfortable for you, you can go to the Balu Lounge, which is next to the entrance you probably came in, and watch it on the screen there. We are a welcoming congregation. Whoever you are, however you identify, wherever you come from, whoever you love, you are welcome here. Our Sunday services are different each week so that we can honor and learn from a wide array of traditions and beliefs. Today, our speaker is Emilie boggis, and her talk is entitled Rest is Resistance. And I'll tell you more about Emilie later. For Unitarian Universalists, the flaming chalice is a symbol of the light of learning and the love of our community. Amy will be lighting our chalice today. As our chalice is lit, we invite you to light your own chalice at home. And Calvin has a special reading for us.
Our chalice reading today is by the Reverend Michelle Collins. Welcome to this place where hope can be nourished. In a world that profits from despair, our gathering is a declaration of faith. We declare that joy still rises, that kindness still matters, that hope is not dead. We come to remember we are not alone. May our time together restore us to wonder, strengthen our resolve, and return us to the world as bearers of hope who sustain the work of resistance. Please join us in singing hymn number 362, Rise Up, O Flame.
Rise up, O flame, our God,
Our opening reading today is The Clearing by Martha Postlethwaite. Do not try to save the whole world or do anything grandiose. Instead, create a clearing in the dense forest of your life and wait there.
Thank you, Calvin. Now we'll have our first hymn. Is that correct? It's number 1017 in the teal hymnal. We are building a new way. Please stand if you're willing and able.
We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. Fight and greed and jealousy. We are working to be free. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. That's the seed. We can feed every need. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these, the world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry. You may be seated.
Each week we take a moment to read together some part of our Unitarian Universalist heritage. We invite you, as you are comfortable, to share in this affirmation by reading aloud our vision statement. We envision a welcoming congregation with abundant resources and diverse ministries, nourishing people in body, mind, and spirit within a garden that honors the earth. We envision our church as a wellspring of spiritual exploration, learning, and action, where all are inspired and empowered to connect with our wider community and to improve our world. And now we have a time for all ages led by Jennifer.
Today we're exploring the challenge of resisting distraction, overwhelm, anger, and worry, what the Buddhists call the monkey mind. The monkey mind is that restless part of us that is always jumping from thought to thought, never content to sit still. It's a feeling of being pulled in 100 directions, all our shoulds, what ifs, and what's next. As Unitarian Universalists, we seek wisdom from many faith traditions, and Buddhism offers deep insight into how to calm our monkey mind and to live with more peace and calm. I'm going to read a tale to you, which shows us just how tricky, but also how teachable our monkey mind is. Once long ago, a man received a wonderful present from a master, a magical monkey that could do anything the man asked of it. Well, of course, he was thrilled. He took the monkey along with him and asked it to do all sorts of useful things. In no time at all, it would finish each task and come running back for the next order. The man had the monkey build him a palatial house. In no time at all, the monkey had finished it. Now our friend was really thrilled. What's not to like? The man went to bed for the night and found out. The monkey kept pestering him. Now what do you want me to do? What's next? The man could never rest, ever. Day and night, the monkey hounded him with requests for more work, which it finished in no time, and then was back for more. At his wit's end, the man went back to the master. Help, you've got to give me a way to deal with this monkey so that it doesn't keep bothering me day and night. What can I do? The master gave him one curly hair. He intoned, have the monkey make the hair go straight. The master demonstrated pulling the hair straight. As soon as he let go, the hair bounced back to its former shape. That was it. The man took the hair and gave it to the monkey, ordering it to make the hair straight. The monkey sat down, fully focused on the little hair. He pulled it straight. It bounced back. He pulled it again. It bounced back again. So it went for about a minute. The man raced to his bed and gratefully passed out asleep. Just like the man in this story, we all have our own monkey minds, always busy and always jumping from one thing to the next. This story reminds us that peace isn't found doing more or controlling every thought, but finding ways to gently give our minds something steady to focus on. A breath, a word, a flame, a moment of gratitude. In that quiet place, we discover what the Buddhist master already knew. Calm isn't something we chase, it's something we create.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. And now we will sing the children to their religious exploration class. We will now have a few minutes for meditation, reflection, or prayer. The singing bowl will lead us into silence. After the silence, you are invited to join in the song, Spirit of Life. The words will be on the screen. Alrighty, next we will have a reading. Gregory, you want? Thank you.
This essay is called A Slower Urgency by Bayo Akomolafe. I learned a long time ago about a particular saying from the continent I grew up on. The times are urgent, let us slow down. The first time I heard this African saying, I knew I had happened upon something important, something that needed to be shared at this time when the theme of urgency, the subject of the 11th hour and the prospects of an apocalypse scenario, World War III, climate change disaster, Hadron Collider mishap, Trump, are now familiar tropes in our conversations about the future. So everywhere I was invited to speak, I offered an invitation to slow down, which seems like the wrong thing to do when there's fire on the mountain. But here's the point, in hurrying up all the time, we often lose sight of the abundance of resources that might help us meet today's most challenging crises. We rush through into the same patterns we are used to. Of course, there isn't a single way to respond to crisis. There's no universally correct way. However, the call to slow down works to bring us face to face with the invisible, the hidden, the unremarked, the yet to be resolved. Sometimes what is the appropriate thing to do is not the effective thing to do. Slowing down is thus about lingering in the places we are not used to, seeking out new questions, becoming accountable to more than what rests on the surface, seeking roots. Slowing down is taking care of ghosts, hugging monsters, sharing silence, embracing the weird. If a humanist response to, say, the killing of whales or police violence urges us to do more and more to stop these phenomena, then the call to slow down reminds us that we do not simply act upon the world as if the world were external to our actions or as if we were external to it. We are the world in its ongoing actioning. As a result, we might come to examine our complicity in class issues and how the loss of immediate connections with the wilds renders us moderns poor spokespeople for the well-being of the non-human. The world is a going on together, a becoming together. This has vast implications for how we think about ourselves, others, and the world. Perhaps today's new openings in thought and actions afford us an opportunity to build sanctuaries, places where people can feel safe and held, where a composting of ourselves can take place.
Thank you, Greg. As mentioned earlier, Unitarian Universalists have a wide array of beliefs, and the speakers at our Sunday services come from many traditions. Today, to share with us her own thoughts, is Emilie Boggis. Emilie is a deeply relational leader, consultant, and an ordained minister. With 20 years serving, partnering with, and leading organizations, Emilie is passionate about the daily practice of choosing love for ourselves and our communities in times of extraordinary change and conflict. Emilie is constantly learning, mixing theory with everyday application. She earned her Master of Divinity from Meadville Lombard Theological School, a Unitarian Universalist seminary in Chicago, Illinois. She loved the engaged learning community there at the Association of Chicago Theological Schools. She graduated from high school in Easton, Pennsylvania, then from college in Greenville, South Carolina. She has studied in Regensburg, Germany. She is also a certified spiritual director and reflective pastoral supervisor. Before joining LeaderWise, Emilie served a congregation in Summit, New Jersey for 18 years as they celebrated their 100th anniversary, established a new mission, implemented a strategic plan, engaged more boldly in their community through relationship-based partnerships, and trained a lay chaplain team to extend the spiritual care of their community. While visiting partners in Transylvania, Emilie learned the power of simply introducing people to one another. And as an aside, she wants us to know she was born in Lexington, Kentucky. Her parents went to UK, and her mom is in the Hall of Fame there. and most of her family lives in the Louisville area. A quote from her, "Kentucky is a wonderful place, and I'm glad to know there are UUs in Bowling Green." And let's hear from Emily.
Good morning. Every day after school, the son of a well-known rabbi would enter his house, place his backpack on the dining room table, leave the house through the back door, and head into the woods behind the house. At first, the rabbi gave little thought to his son's ritual until it continued for days and then for weeks, and every day out into the woods for almost an hour. The rabbi grew concerned. "My son," he asked one day, "I notice that each day you leave our home to spend time in the woods. Are you okay?" "Oh, Papa," the son replied, "there's no need to worry. I go out into the woods to pray. It's in the woods that I can talk to God." "Oh," the rabbi said, clearly relieved, "but you should know that God is the same everywhere." "Yes, Papa," the boy said, "I know that God is the same everywhere, but I am not." Can I get an amen? Do you know what amen means? The word itself has been traced back to an ancient Egyptian word, ament, and translates to ground of being. When we respond with an amen to something we've heard, it expresses that what we've heard is connected to a truth or an experience we have known, like the earth supporting us. You always have a choice to say amen or not. Throughout this morning's service, I'll ask you today, can I get an amen? If what I've said resonates, if it connects with you, by all means say amen. If not, that's okay too. It'd be a very boring world if we all agreed with everything with what another said. Returning back to the story of the rabbi and his son, the son teaches his father a lesson. God may be the same everywhere, but we are not. There is such a thing as sacred space and sacred time. When we enter, it opens us to the divinity within and the divinity without. It helps us find our center. It may be available to us in all spaces and in all times, but some spaces sometimes don't work for us because we are not the same everywhere. I wonder how many of us live our days like the boy, entering our homes, putting our work down, and going to our sacred spaces. How many of us, after a long day, release our burdens and make the time to find our center, our sense of what is holy? Not too many hands I see. Well, let's ask the question again. Anybody? Okay. We enter our homes and there's a never-ending amount of work to do. Someone recently shared with me, almost in a whisper, I miss the slowness of time in that first year of the pandemic. Is that wrong? It feels like we're back to breakneck speed. I've said it once and I'll say it again, the wisdom from Peter Drucker, the famous management consultant. Culture eats strategy for breakfast. Even with the best of intentions to live a slower pace of life, America's dominant culture takes pride in its fast-paced urgency. That culture ate our intention for breakfast. My grandmother has a framed cross-stitch on her wall that reads, "To rest is to rust." We can sleep when we're dead. Welcome to grind culture, says Tricia Hersey, a performance artist and activist, a theologian and a daydreamer. She calls herself the Nap Bishop, and her ministry, you guessed it, is called the Nap Ministry. Let me warn you, it's not just about naps. It's not about self-care. Podcaster Glennon Doyle's wryly commented that calling Tricia Hersey's ministry a nap ministry is a little like calling Jesus' work a walking ministry. Let me warn you, when people enter Tricia's nap retreats, they are often surprised. They think they're coming to nap so they can just return to grind culture well rested. What people aren't expecting, Tricia says, is that she is calling you to resist grind culture. Full stop. She not only hands you a blanket, she also hands you a metaphorical flamethrower so that you can burn the culture of the grind to the ground. Rest is, in fact, resistance. And she is calling on all of us to join together and resist. The times are urgent, says Bayo Akomolafe. Let us slow down. Imagine a world where naps are essential to human flourishing. Can I get an amen? Amen. The Nap Bishop says, rest is a form of resistance because it disrupts and pushes back against capitalism and white supremacy. Both of these toxic systems refuse to see the inherent divinity of human beings, not to mention the planet, and have used human bodies, especially black and brown bodies, as a tool for production, evil, and violence for centuries. Grind culture has made all of us human machines willing and ready to donate our lives to a capitalist system that thrives by placing profits over people, profit over planet. Have any of you heard the news about the cargo ships steaming right through whale habitats and feeding grounds and pathways? Whales like the endangered blue whales living off the southern tip of Sri Lanka. They strike and kill the whales repeatedly. An organization called Whale Safe has been asking large cargo ships to slow down to 10 knots when traveling through whale territory since 2014. Whale Safe uses buoys that listen for and identify the songs of blue whales, fin whales, and humpbacks, which alerts shipping vessels who are near the whales, urging them to slow down or reroute. In 2019, before the system's launch in Santa Barbara, 46% of vessels slowed down in voluntary speed reduction zones. With the new system, the percentage has risen to 60% in 2022. Another organization called Protecting Blue Whales and Blue Skies actually pays shipping companies to slow down for whales. The times are urgent. Let us slow down. Imagine a world where we are paid to slow down. Can I get an amen? Amen. The rest is resistant movement, says the Nap Bishop, is a connection and a path back to our true nature. We are stripped down to who we really were before the terrorism of capitalism and white supremacy. That's when we learn that we are enough. That's when we claim our divinity. God might be everywhere, but it's nearly impossible to find our center in grind culture. The rabbi's son goes out to the wood to find his center because the dominant culture stops him from experiencing divinity in the everywhere. Yes, this trip to the woods is an act of centering. It's also one of resistance, says Tricia Hersey. On Sunday, our junior high class gathered to watch a Twilight Zone episode. The Twilight episode is called The Obsolete Man, and it's set in the future. Not the one that will be, but one that could be, as the host Rod Serling tells us. We enter a scene where a man is put on trial for being obsolete, no longer productive, no longer worthy. You see, in the future, the state has banned books, and the man is a librarian, therefore the man is now obsolete. If found guilty of being obsolete, the librarian will be put to death because he has no value. In his youth, he was a carpenter, producing furniture as valuable for the state. If he had remained a carpenter, he would not be obsolete. But the librarian chose to resist, and his method of resistance, reading. At the end of the show, the host does something unexpected. He reappears on the show to give the moral, saying, any state, any entity, any ideology which fails to recognize the worth, the dignity, the rights of man, that state is obsolete. You might recognize these words as they are in our first principle. We Unitarian Universalists affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of each human being. Rod Serling was a member of the Santa Monica congregation, and he wrote that episode in 1961, the same year that Unitarian Universalists voted to create and live by our principles. Tricia Hersey calls us to view grind culture through a similar lens. This dominant culture, grounded in capitalism and white supremacy, does not recognize the worth and the dignity of neither human beings nor the planet. Any state or corporation, religious or entity, warns Rod Serling, that fails to recognize this all right, is obsolete. The times are urgent, let us slow down. Imagine a world in which you are worthy just for being alive. You're valued. Can I get an amen? Amen. How many of us are exhausted? How many of us are facing an even more exhausting week ahead? How ironic that we have lived with a deadly virus for 3 years that attempted to teach us to take our exhaustion seriously. We didn't listen because culture eats strategy for breakfast. In the last 2 weeks, both of my teenagers have had a virus, just your common old winter virus. As my eldest got ready for school, she shared with me her symptoms: sore throat, aches, fever, fatigue. We tested her for COVID, negative. I said, I think you should stay home. Her response, I can't, I've just got too much work to do. I countered, if you had COVID, you would be home for 5 days, period. Let me ask you, if you didn't have a lot of work to do, would you stay home? Her body deflated as she confessed, yes, gladly, I feel terrible. She ended up staying home and slept for 6 straight hours. I texted her from work, I guess it's good that you didn't go to school. She replied, yeah. Tell that to my math homework. We aren't allowed to be sick because the work never stops. The pace is unrelenting. If we don't do the work, we can't catch up. It requires someone else, our coworkers, our partners, to add more work to workloads that are unsustainable. Grind culture, says Knapp Bishop, keeps us exhausted, and we're addicted to it. If I told all of you that your practice for the week is to get 8 hours minimum per night of sleep, you would not believe the resistance I hear. I just couldn't. People cry, "I couldn't get it all done." Well, that's the point. Keeping us exhausted is intentional because if we're exhausted, we won't have the ability to dream of new possibilities for ourselves, for our planet. It keeps us in a state of despair. One of the tenets of Hershey's nap ministry is that naps are portals to our imagination. The seeds of our future exist in our imagination. When we nap, we are connected to our dream space. Grind culture steals from us that space of dreams and imaginations and futures. But just remember, oppression was imagined. Liberation can be imagined too, but it will require us to take our imaginations back. It will require us to slow down. It will require us to rest. Let's begin right now. Sit in your chair with your back upright, your feet firmly planted. Or for you all at home, if you're reclining, lay in your chair or your bed, in a hammock on the couch. All right, everybody, scan your body. Close your eyes and recognize any tension you might feel. Take a deep breath into the tension. And another deep breath. You might feel that tension dissolve. Imagine a world without limits. Imagine a world without oppression. Imagine a world of liberation. Imagine a world where whales swim free without risk, without harm. Deep breath from your belly. Slowly exhale. Very gently open your eyes. You might consider trying this a few times a day. Lady Nancy Ambrose was the grandmother of the prophetic mystic Howard Thurman. She was born a slave. As a little girl, the white preacher would come to the plantation and offer services to her community. Years later, she told her grandson about a moment that changed her life forever. The preacher looked at her and her community in the eye and said, "If you remember one thing, I want you to remember this. You are not slaves. You are children of God." For the rest of her life, Lady Nancy Ambrose held this truth inside of her. It was her center. No one could ever take that away from her. Her grandson went on to meet Mahatma Gandhi, the guru of nonviolent resistance. Gandhi taught Thurman to resist small acts of evil. Don't begin with big evil in the world. Start small. Resist small acts of evil and work your way up to the bigger ones. Thurman returned home to the United States, and his small act of resistance was to teach people, especially Americans with their backs against the wall, the marginalized, people of color, the poor, to teach people how to establish a sense of inherent worth and live from a place of dignity. Thurman was following in the footsteps of his grandmother. If the dignity of a person can be restored, if a person can claim their worth, he said, it stabilizes the ego. It increases esteem and gives one courage to question oppression. How did he teach people to do this? He taught them to sit in silence, not unlike a nap. It seems like such a small act, and it is. But the writer Maggie Smith reminds us to remember geologic time, how the slightest shifts, imperceptible daily, carve deep canyons and make mountains. We have to trust that our small acts of resistance are making progress, even if we can't yet see it. The times are urgent. Let us slow down. Imagine living from your center every day. Imagine claiming your worth every day. Imagine your dignity restored every day. Can I get an amen? Amen. Because if we can do that, no one can take that from us. Rest is resistance. I've decided to follow in my grandmother's footsteps. I'm learning how to cross stitch. It's a gift for my future grandchildren. One day I'll frame it and give it to them, and it will say, to rest is to resist. Amen. This is the ground of our being.
Thank you so much, Amy. Masterfully done. If you have any questions about Unitarian Universalism or about joining this congregation, please speak to a member of our membership team. Their name tags have an open book symbol. Is anyone from membership here today? All right, the hands are going up all around. You can also email membership@uucbg.org. And the second Sundays is a question and answer session. Is today the second Sunday? It's today. So you are in luck. The ladies with the answers are here. Now we will take an offering for our congregation to support the work we do. The offering is a sacrament of the free church. You may place your donation in the plate as it comes to you or on your way out, or use the QR codes on the screen, or donate via our website or mail checks in. As we enjoy the music, the offering will be given and received in grateful appreciation of our shared hopes and values.
Come gather round, people, wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving, then you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone. For the times they are a-changing. Come writers and critics who prophesy with your pen, and keep your eyes wide, the chance won't come again. And don't speak too soon, for the wheel's still in spin. There's no telling who that it's naming. For the loser now will be later to win. For the times they are a-changin'. Come, senators, congressmen, please heed the call. Don't stand in the doorway, don't block up the hall. For he that gets hurt will be he who has stalled. There's a battle outside and it's raging. It'd soon shake your windows and rattle your walls. For the times they are a-changin'. Come, mothers and fathers throughout the land, and don't criticize what you can't understand. Your sons and your daughters are beyond your command. Your old road is rapidly aging. Please get out of the way if you can't lend your hand, for the times they are a-changin'. Well, the line it is drawn, and the curse it is cast. The slow one now will be later be fast, as the present now will later be past. The order is rapidly fading, and the first one now will later be last. For the times they are a-changin'.
We thank you for these gifts. May we use them wisely in the service of our congregation and our community. Now we have some community news. I'm going to start with Deanie first. She has important information about an event. She's coming. Thank you, Gloria.
Thank you, Michelle. Some of you may remember that last summer, the Red Cross put out a call and asked if any of the churches in this community would be willing to participate in disaster preparedness by helping to set up a shelter should an emergency occur. Guess what? We're now ready to do the training. It's a 2-hour training on setting up a shelter, and it's this Tuesday. Here at this church, we'd like to do it between 12:30 and about 2:45. It's a 2-hour training, but they're serving lunch, and I know we like to talk, so I added a few minutes to that. If you can come during that time between 12:30 and 2:30, please sign up in the fellowship hall so we'll know how many people to make lunch for. If that's an impossible time for you, you can also come from 10 to 12 at WKU, and I can give you that information. Just as a rehash, okay, this is becoming a Red Cross event-based volunteer, so that if something like the tornadoes came, again, we would be able to set up a shelter immediately for those people affected. There will be one simulation, and that simulation will be sometime between this Monday and the 20th, meaning that once we are trained on Tuesday, sometime in that following week, we will get the call, and the call will say there has been X kind of disaster, please come set up a shelter. That will be the only training that we will have forever, okay, because then we'll know how to do it and do it well.
Can I get an amen?
If you feel like you need more information, I will be here. I'm actually going to put my Red Cross vest on for y'all so you can remember me if you don't know who I am, okay? We would love to have you come. We really need our church to step up in this community and think of it as rest. It is a rest from your daily routine. It is a rest into something that you've always wanted to do but said, oh, I don't know how to do this. Then you will. Tuesday, 12:30 to 2:45. Thank you.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. Thank you, Deanie. Alrighty. Third Sunday beneficiaries, we're asking who you'd like to see receive some funds. Please use the online form or available on this QR code. The link is in the weekly update. Our first beneficiary of the year, as usual, is the UU Service Committee's Guest at Your Table program. On January 18th, next Sunday, please remember to bring the money you've been collecting over the holiday season. We have started our UUCBG book discussion group. Everyone is welcome to gather at 7:30 via Zoom on Wednesday, January 28th, to talk about Dancing with the Sacred by Carl Powers. No need to come out in the dark. You can just put on your computer. The link to the Zoom meeting is in the January newsletter and will be in the weekly email updates. Today, after the service, the Earth Circle group will be sponsoring a wild weaving workshop in the fellowship hall at 12:45. Everyone is welcome, and I can attest it's going to be fun, so please join us. And finally, during this winter season, we welcome donations of food to our free food pantry in the fellowship hall. Everyone is welcome to take food, either for yourself or someone you know, give it to a shelter or pantry in your neighborhood. If you have news to share, please send it to us on the Thursday email update. There is a link to editor@uucbg.org, and send it by Wednesday, preferably. As always, there's more news in the weekly update. You can check the website and Facebook for any updates. We will now have our final hymn. Please rise in body or spirit as we sing I Wish I Knew How, number 151, which is in the hymnal, the gray hymnal.
Thank you.
We'll invite Matt up to do our final reading.
Okay, our final reading is passed along by Frederick and Mary Ann Broussat. Once a reporter asked A.J. Mustay, "Do you really think you are going to change the policies of this country by standing out here alone at night in front of the White House with a candle?" Mustay replied softly, "Oh, I don't do this to change the country. I do this so the country won't change me."
Thank you so much, Matt. We hope you found this service meaningful, and we invite you to share your thoughts about today's service. You can send comments to the address on the screen. For if those in person, there's a little blue box if you prefer to write it down on a piece of paper, or you can use the online form. There's a link to it on your YouTube page, and the QR code is posted on the bulletin board and printed in the welcome brochure. Next Sunday, we are having a service to honor Martin Luther King with a guest speaker. It's about a local story. I think you'll find it very interesting. We invite you we need to say farewell to our friends online. We invite you to join us again, either in person or online. Until then, be well and go in peace.